We are on Daf Daled Amud Aleph. We're starting from Daf Gimel Amud Beis, the second to last line from the bottom, the second word on the page. Let's say the sukkah with the schach was more than 20 amas high. So now the person wants to make the height of the sukkah smaller, make the node between the floor and the schach, so that it will be less than 20 amas. But what he wants to do is he puts down, let's say, cushions or blankets, and he wants to put it on the floor. That's not going to be called a lessening. Why is that? Because those things are not nullified to the floor of the sukkah, so it's as if they're not there. And therefore, the schach is still above 20 amas. Even though the person actually said that they're batal, that he's nullifying them there. Okay, he's saying he's going to keep them there all the days of Sukkot. It doesn't matter why. Because his opinion or his mindset is nullified amongst all people. People don't nullify these things to the floor of the sukkah, and therefore, since it's not normal, we don't consider them to be nullified. Teva, now, these are famous cases. Teva, when it comes to straw, ubitlo, and the person said he put straw there to lessen the height of the sukkah on the floor, and he said explicitly that he's going to leave it there. He's going to leave it there for the rest of the days of Yom Tov. Habibiyut, that's considered a lessening. Why? Because it's an acceptable nullification. But kol sheken, all the more so, offer ubitlo, and certainly if he put dirt there, and he said explicitly he's going to leave it there, that's for sure going to be good, because it's more likely to nullify dirt than it is to nullify straw. Straw you can feed the animals, etc. Dirt's not good for that. So therefore, in both those cases, the nullification is good, and the sukkah is considered less than 20 amas. Now we have a famous case. Tevin, you have straw. So let's say you put straw, and he doesn't explicitly nullify it, but we know that he has no need for it the rest of the days of Chag. Okay, the offer stam and dirt. Okay, where and we don't even know whether he has need for it or not, and he didn't nullify it explicitly. Machlokas Rabbanan. That's a machlokas. That's an argument between Rabbi Yossi and between the rabbis. The Tanan, because we learn by Shemalo Tavanot Soros. Now, just to explain, there's a law by Tumas May. So you know that when a person himself overhangs a corpse or a kazayis of the corpse, he becomes tummy, or if there's a house and the corpse is tummy, so the house becomes tummy. What happens if a person is overshadowing a house that overshadows a corpse? So it depends. If there's a space of a tefach between the corpse and the roof, then the tumah of the corpse does not extend above the roof of the house. But if the whole house is solidly packed from the corpse to the roof, then the uncleanliness goes up through the roof, and it will make somebody tamei who's above the house. Okay, we're going to see. So this idea of straw, where we know that he doesn't need to take it out for the rest of the days, or even dirt where he does, where we don't even know. That's an argument what the law is between us and the Rabbanan. Just like we learned by the corpse, we're going to see the same argument applied by sukkah. It's not because we learned. Let's say you have a house and you filled it up with straw or with stones. Okay, so there's no space of a tefach between the corpse and between the roof. Ubitlo, and the person explicitly nullified it and said that he's canceling it to be there. Mavutal. So in such a case, it is nullified. Okay, because he said he's nullifying the straw or nullifying the stones. So therefore, it's a nullification. And therefore, what? And therefore, the house is considered full, and the tumah goes straight up through the roof. Bitlo in lo bitlo lo. But you see from the fact that it said that, you see it's only where what? It's where he explicitly nullified it, and not where he didn't, and not where it's an assumed case. It's only if he explicitly nullified. But Tani Allah, we learned about it. Rabbi Yossi says Tevin ben Asi Lefanoso, as opposed to the original opinion. Rabbi Yossi says if it's straw and we know that he's not going to take it away Hari Huka Offer Okstam. That's like, and that'll be the same case as dirt, not only without explicit nullification, but without any knowledge. Uvatal, in either case, it's nullified. Okay. So you see what? Okay, and offer avasi lefanoso, and if it's dirt, but we know that he's going to take it away, hari hu kastam tevin below pito. That'll be the same case as straw without any explicit intention. Okay, and it is not and it is not batal. So you see clearly that there's a machlokas about this case, about straw, and we know that he's not going to take it away, or dirt, and we don't even know anything about it. So therefore, we can say the same argument that applies by the house will also apply here by sukkah. Says the Gemara further. Let's say a sukkah was higher than 20 amas, but let's say branches from the schach will extend below, or leaves from the schach will extend below the 20 amas. Okay, what's the law? So now do you say the schach is above 20? The schach is within 20. So if the shade of the schach that protrudes lower gives more shade than it gives shadow, kashera. So then the sukkah is kosher, because as if it has a layer of schach, because we have schach at the proper height, v'im lav. But if the schach that goes below the 20 amos it does not have more shadow, more shade than light. So then it's as if they're not there, psula. So then the sukkah is possible, because again the schach is too high. Let's say the opposite way. The sukkah is really too low. Okay, let's say the sukkah is exactly 10 tefachim high. We're at the minimum height. It's really low. And now leaves will the schach enter into less than 10 tefachim? That's lower than the minimum height. So far, by Lameim, Abai wanted to say, Abai wanted to say, look at the same rules we learned above. If the light is greater than the shade, the sukkah will be kosher. Why? Because the parts that go below the tent, since they give more light than shade, it's as if they don't exist, just like the case above, and the sukkah is still kosher. Rav says to them, no. This is a lousy dwelling. Such a cramped house is no good. No, forget about the fact that a person can't live in a sukkah that's that small. It doesn't really matter. And the fact that the schach that comes below doesn't give more shadow than light doesn't make a difference. It's not a good dwelling place. Let's say the sukkah was higher than 20 amas, and let's call the average sukkah is 3 walls and open on the fourth side. We'll call the walls A, B, and C, and B is the wall that connects the 2 side walls. So A and C are side walls, B is the back wall. Let's say the sukkah was higher than 20 amos, and the person builds out a ledge all along al panei kula. He builds a ledge along the back B wall, all through, or completely along it. So the ledge extends along the B wall from the A wall to the C wall. So it's really, that ledge is surrounded by 3 walls, and it's obviously it's higher than the floor. So between the ledge and the schach is really not going to be 20 amos. And that ledge has the minimum size of a sukkah. It's 7 tefachim by 7 tefachim, kshera, then the whole sukkah is now kosher. Okay, we're going to see the whole sukkah is kosher, because you have a kosher sukkah, and the rest of the sukkah is kosher because of the principle we don't learn it called pesel yotzim in a sukkah. We're going to see that the extension that goes out of the kosher sukkah is also kosher. Umenatzad, but let's say the other way. Let's say a person built a ledge out. Let's say, for example, from the sea wall. So then it's going to depend. So now that ledge on the sea wall is only surrounded by 2 walls, by the B wall and the C wall, but it's not connected to the A wall. So what do? If from the edge of that ledge to the wall A, arba amas, if there are 4 amas between it, pasula, then the sukkah is not kosher. Why? Because we have no 3rd wall to bound the ledge, only the B wall and the C wall. Pachas mi arba amas, but if the distance between the ledge and the A wall is less than 4 amas, kshera, now the sukkah is kosher. Why is that? Because we have a principle called dofen akuma. We have a handed down principle from Sinai that schach that's puzzle, when the roof is puzzle, the schach is puzzle is no good. We can see that it's an extension of the wall, and the wall just bends. So think about this. The area between the ledge and the A wall is more than 20 amas high. So the schach is puzzle because it's more than 20 amas. But we can say the A wall now bends over. That higher than 20 amas schach is just an extension of the A wall. So the A wall goes less than 4 amas, because less than 4 amas we can make a bent wall, and the schach above 20 amas, which is less than 4 from the ledge, makes the A wall bend and reach the ledge. So it's now surrounded by 3 walls. My commercial one, the Gemara says, come on, the Gemara is not satisfied. Come on, you come to tell me. That's a chiddush. I'm reading Dofen Akuma. What you want? Is that what you're trying to teach me? That we say a bent wall? Tanina, everybody knows that. We have an explicit Mishnah that we say a bent wall. But we have a rule. Let's say there was a house and the house became eroded. And let's say there's a hole in the middle of the roof. You have a house and there's a hole in the middle of the roof. And then the person put kosher schach on top of the hole in the roof of his house. So we learn the Mishnah between the walls and the schach part. Arba amas. If there's 4 amas between the walls and that schach part in the middle, psula the sukkah is possible. Why? Because there's no walls for the part that's for the schach. But if it's less, okay, we learn clearly that it's kosher. Why is that? Because we say dofen akuma. We say that you're going to extend the walls from all the sides, less than 4 amas. Each of the walls bends over, and it's as if it reaches the hole in the middle that has the schach over. So what are you teaching me over here? So what's the chiddush you're teaching me over here? That if I built the wall along the side, that it's kosher if it's less than 4 amas from the A wall. We already learned that. Gemara says no, it's a chiddush. Why? Over there, in the case of the house, the walls are walls. In other words, the walls are not higher than 20 amas. They're fit to be a wall, okay? Because it's not 20 amas high. So there I say, there I can make a bent wall. But over here, here where the walls are more than 20 amas high, I might think they're not fit to be a wall at all, and I don't say bent wall. So I would say you don't say the principle of a bent wall. Kamashmalan tells me no. Even if that wall is super high, it still is able to get the rule of a bent wall to come and reach the schach, which is to come and reach the schach. Okay, in our case of the sukkah where it's too high. Okay, and obviously and you realize that wall that was more than 20 amas high, when it reaches the ledge, so of course it's not going to be more than 20 amas high. Okay, furthermore, so what about this way? Again, you have the sukkah with walls A, B, and C, and you built a ledge smack in the middle. It's not connected to any of the walls. It's not connected to any of the walls. So if between that ledge in the middle of the sukkah and the walls, there's arba amos, ruach. If there's 4 amos in every direction to the walls, psula. So then the sukkah still remains unkosher because you don't, even though the ledge is going to be from the ledge to the schach is less than 20 amas, but there's no walls. Okay, pachas me'arbas, but if it's less, if from the ledge in the middle of the sukkah to the 3 walls is less than 4 amas, sheir will be kosher because of the principle of a bent wall. I'm Ma'akamash Malan. So again, the Gemara. So what are you telling me? Darin Dofen Akuma. You want to tell me the principle of a bent wall? I know. This is the same. This is the same as the case you just learned above. You told me what's the chiddush of this third case? You already told me the back, the B wall. You told me the C wall, and now in the middle. What do you need to tell me for? The Gemara says Ma'odeteim. And you might think, no, when do we say bent wall? From one direction, okay, you can use the principle of that wall. Avol, we call ruach for ruach from all the directions. Here, this thing smack in the middle, and you're gonna have to go in all 3 walls. You have to make a bent wall to make it kosher. Okay, you call ruach for low. You might think, what, from every direction you can't say bent wall? They came to teach me that even in all the directions you can say a bent wall. Okay, furthermore, we learned. Let's say the sukkah here, the schach is now less than 10 tvachim high, not a kosher sukkah. So what do I want to do? I want to make more height in the sukkah. And the person digs into the ground, and he digs an area 7 by 7 into the ground. So now, in order to make it 10 tvachim, he digs a hole 7 by 7 in order to make it 10 high. Now with that depression, it's going to be 10 high. Now, if between the hole that you dug out and the wall shlosha tvachim, there are 3 tvachim, only 3 handbreadths psula, it's already no good. Okay, pachim shlosha tvachim, but if it's less than 3 tvachim, sheira. Now the sukkah is kosher. Why? Because we have to get a wall for that hole, right? And then the hole is distant from the wall. So less than 3 tvachim, we have another handed down principle from Sinai called lavud, which means that something is connected. It's connected by attachment. It's considered to be attached, like a sneef, by an attachment. So therefore, so if it's less than 3 tvachim, so the hole's attached to the wall surrounding it, and you can say that the hole has walls that are 10 tvachim high. But if not, if it's more than 3, and you can't make the hole connected to the walls, so now the problem is that the wall is only, let's say for example, 7 high, and the hole is 3, but the hole doesn't have a wall. The wall still has only a wall of 3 and not a wall of 7. Where says one second. How come over here all of a sudden you're bothering me with 3? We said before that we could make a bent wall up until 4. What are you talking about? Until 4 amos. What are you talking about? Gigantic amount. In the above cases, you told me it came to the bent wall. Okay, for example, when you built the ledge in the sukkah, you told me I could go up to 4 amos. Okay, as long as you had less than 4 amos, it was fine. How come over you have to have less than 3 handbreadths? They had less than 4 cubits was fine. Says, I'll tell you what the difference was. Over there, you're right. Remember, the walls were too high, and we were extending the wall. But over there was a wall that was 10 high. So where there was a wall, and now I want to bend the wall, I could bend the wall up to 4 amos. Okay, dati the dolphin. Over there was a wall that, because a partition is 10 high, there was a wall that was 10 high. Okay, so I can bend it. Therefore, less than 4 amos, it's sufficient to keep extending the wall, make a bent wall. And here, I don't have a wall. The depression, let's say, for example, is 3 tvachim, and the wall is, let's say, 7 tvachim. I don't have a wall of 10. I'm not taking a wall and extending. I'm trying to make a wall. And I want to turn it into a wall by attaching it. Then I have to use the law of attachment and not of a bend wall. So that principle is what? Less than 3 tvachim, and that's from the depression to the wall. That works. That's considered attached. That's called lavud. And if it's not less than 3 tvachim, then it's not attached. So the two things are different. Attaching a non-wall to make a wall needs less than 3 tvachim. Taking a wall to extend it, you can extend it up to less than 4 amos, a very large amount, to make a bent wall. Let's say this case, you have a sukkah that's 10 high, more than 20 high, okay, against too high, and again, so you want to get an area, you want to lower the amount between the dwelling area and the schach, and you put a pillar smack in the middle of the sukkah. And the pillar is 4 by 4 tvachim. It's big enough to be probably 7 by 7 handbreadths. It's big enough to be a sukkah. So Baya wanted to say, no problem, we'll do this like by Shabbos. Extend asid and bring up mechitzah. Extend and bring up and raise up the mechitzah. You'll take the sides of the pillar and consider them 4 walls and extend them upwards like we do in Shabbos, and therefore they'll go upwards. They'll go upwards. Okay, and since upwards, and the whole thing, it'll be considered to have walls, and the area between there and the schach is less than 20, and it's fine. Amalei Rabba said to him, he says, no, it doesn't work. He said, he says, I'm sorry, that's not going to work by a sukkah. By a sukkah, I can't use that principle. I need to have recognizable walls, and here, abstractly extending the sides of the pillar upwards to say that it has walls, and therefore, and the pillar itself is within is not too far distant from the schach, and it has 4 walls. That's not going to work because you need to have visible walls. And Abaye apparently said no. Tana Rabbana, we learn. Now there's a famous case. A guy takes 4 poles. Okay, they're pillars, but let's say we'll call them poles. You take 4 poles and vesika chagabam, and there's no walls, and he puts schach on top of the 4 poles. Let's say he made a frame. So there's no walls. No walls. Okay, Rabbi Yaakov Machshir. Rabbi Yaakov says that sukkah is kosher. Okay, but Chachamim man that were posted, the rabbis say no, it's not a good sukkah. Now, so 1 second, what's machlokes here? Why does Rabbi Yaakov even say it's good? Rav Huna. So Rav Huna says machlokas al svas agag. The whole argument between the rabbis and Rabbi Yaakov was only on the edge of the roof. In other words, it's where we stuck 4 poles on the 4 corners of a roof. Okay, in which case I said, why is it kosher? And you put the schach on top of the poles. Rabbi Yaakov savar amina godak mechitzasa, because he handed that principle from Sinai. We say extend, and bring up the mechitzah. So since now, if you put the poles on the 4 corners of the house, so the 4 walls of the house below, we have the principle of what? of extend and lift them upwards, so the walls of the house become the walls of the sukkah, and the schach is on the four poles. It's fine. And the rabbis hold we don't say extend and bring up mechitza. She says that's the argument is on the side. That's where Rabbi Yaakov says it's good. If you stick four poles in the middle of the roof, where it's not going to get the benefit even of the theoretical extension of the walls of the house, everybody, even Rabbi Yaakov holds what? That it is possible that the sukkah is disqualified because there's no way to extend the walls upwards. Rav Nachman, he says no. He says it's not true. Rav Nachman, he says no. He says no. The argument between the rabbis and Rav Nachman is in the middle of the roof. Okay, and there Rav Yaakov says it's good, and Rav Yaakov says it's good, and the rabbis say it's no good. Okay, now why is that? Because you're talking about four poles that are really what? That are a tefach wide on each side. So you essentially have four poles of a tefach by a tefach. Okay, and that allows us to make a special principle called a diumad. A diumad is a double-sided pole. What do you mean to say? It makes imagine a pole that's one jutting out one tefach to the west, and one tefach to the west, and one tefach to the south, for example. So you have a pole that makes jutting out. So you remember by Shabbos we'd be able to make an enclosure by having four double-sided planks, okay, with jutting out by an amma. Remember around the well. Here we're going to do it by a tefach. So he holds, okay. So there he holds it with four diyumadim. It's as if I have four walls. I have four double-sided poles, because since it's a tefach by a tefach, I can have a cutout of a jutting tefach to tefach, making like a picture frame from the four sides in the middle of the wall. So but he holds it. So therefore, Rav Yaakov holds that it's kosher, and the argument is inside. Now Rav Nachman, remember, didn't tell us what about on the outside. So we had a question. Is the whole argument only in the, and obviously so the Rav Yaakov says yes. The rabbis say no. Is it only the argument? Is Rav Nachman saying that the argument's in the middle of the roof, and Rav Yaakov says I can make a partition with the four double uprights, and the rabbis say no. But on the corner of roof, everybody holds it as kosher, because there even the rabbis could agree that we say extend the walls of the house and bring them upwards. Or perhaps because maybe Rav Nachman saying there's an argument in both cases. The rabbis disagree that you can't make the mechitzas with four four corner style poles in the middle, and they say you can't make it with regular poles on the edge, and you can't. And the rabbis say that you can't extend the walls of the house and bring them up. So we don't know. Macy Bay. So so and the answer is take it. We don't know. We don't know what Rav Nachman's real opinion is. If he holds the argument is only in the middle but not by the outside, or the argument's both in the middle and on the outside. Macy Bay. But we want to bring a kasha on Rav Huna. Rav Huna said that Rav Yaakov's only said that the sukkah was good in the middle because of the principle of the four photo corner edge poles. Okay, but not on the outside. Even he's not going to extend it upwards. Everybody agrees that it's. Everybody agrees. But on the outside, everybody. Rav Huna said what the argument's only in the outside. Okay, where the argument is whether we extend upwards, but not in the middle. So when it says, "Come on, I'm going to show you that it's not true what Rav Huna said." Okay, and it's not true what Rav Huna said. And that one, and Rav Yaakov holds that the four poles are good even in the middle of the roof. Maybe we learn not about kundis bar. It's here if a guy stuck four poles in the ground, which is the equivalent of just anywhere in the ground, which is the equivalent of the middle of the roof. Besika chal gaban, and he made it tzchach on top of them. Rav Yaakov machshir. Rav Yaakov says it's kosher. V'chachamim posted when the rabbis say that it's no good. Ivaho eretz tekem sagagdam. Here, sticking four poles in the flat ground is the same thing as sticking four poles in the middle of the roof, and you see that's the machlokas of Rabbi Yaakov and the rabbis. See what you see that in the middle of the roof, Rav Yaakov says that it's good. Rav Yaakov says it's good because of the four double poles. The answer is tiyufta to Rav Huna. Indeed, that's a knockout blow. That's tiyufta. That's indeed a knockout blow to Rav Huna. It's not true that there's no argument in the middle. That indeed Rav Yaakov holds in the middle. It's good because of the four double poles. We have another kasha. We can ask the second kasha. Remember, Rav Huna said what? That Rav Yaakov said that it's good on the outside, but and not good on the inside. So we showed what that is good on the inside. Now we're going to show you that it's even good. We're going to show you that it's because we could say that it's only good. Okay, be'emtza. But be'emtza, I can show you that Rav Yaakov only said it was good on the inside, and he doesn't say it's good on the outside. Who did the plige good? Aval svasdir hagag divrei kol ksherin. Because okay. So we have another point. Since it said what the argument was in the middle, so you see that there's no argument on the outside, and there everybody agrees on the outside. Even the rabbis will agree. There's not an argument on the outside. In the outside, everyone agrees, even the rabbis, that we say that you extend the walls upwards. So on both counts, we're against what Rav Huna said. Rav Huna said that the whole argument was on the outside, whether you extend upwards or not, with no argument on the inside. First of all, we show there's an argument on the inside, and now you want to tell me that there was an argument on the outside. I'm going to show there's an argument on the outside, because what we say from what we just learned now, the only argument was in the middle of the ground, but on the outside it would be good even according to the rabbis. Lema have it to Rav Huna b'tartes. Maybe there's an argument on Rav Huna both, that Rav Yaakov holds it's good in the inside, and holds it's good in the inside, and it's good in the inside, and on the outside even the rabbis agree that it's good. Rav Huna say to no. Okay, you got me. You can show me this argument, the inside, pligi be'emtzagag. Okay, I could say that in the inside they're arguing, but they're also arguing the outside. Don't let them argue the inside and not on the outside. On the inside they're arguing, and even arguing the outside. But when you told me the case, okay, that he stuck it in the middle, that's coming just to teach me. That's coming to teach me the strength of Rabbi Yaakov. That even in the middle, even in the middle is kosher. Not only does Rabbi Yaakov hold is kosher on the outside, where you can say extend the walls upwards, and the rabbis disagree, but even in the middle, where it's only based on the double poles, perhaps like Avnami Machshir does it. But I don't have to say that only there is the argument. Really, the truth is the argument both places. Why do we speak about the middle? Because the middle teaches us that Rabbi Yaakov not only does he hold the chiddush of extending the walls upwards on the outside of the roof, he also holds the principle of making 4 partitions by virtue of the double uprights in the middle. Says the Gemara further. Tana Rabbanon. Okay, so now we learned we learned clearly that according to Rabbi Yaakov in the middle that it's fine. So now we have to talk about what the principle of Rabbi Yaakov of using 4 poles to make what we call these double poles, like a right angled 4 right angled poles. What's the principle? We learned if you put 4 poles into the ground and you put schach on top of Rabbi Yaakov says you have to explain it. You take these round poles and you look at them and you say to yourself, let's say I would shave off the rounded outside, and then I would dig out the middle, and I would have and I would have a right angle. If I shaved off the round outside and dug out the inside, I would now have a right angle of a tefach going in one direction and tefach going in the other direction. So then you can consider that to be double poles, and each pole is the four, so to speak, right angle poles define a square. They define 4 mechitzas being law. But if not, if you can't get one tefach jutting from each of the poles, then you can't judge them as a double pole. Because Rabbi Yaakov said, even the sukkah tefach, the double poles for a sukkah have to be jutting out one tefach, one embrech to each side. And the rabbis disagree, and they say what? They say you can't. There's no way to make a sukkah. You can't do that. And the most lenient you can be to make a sukkah, the most lenient you can be is a shtaim kilchasan. You have to have 2 real walls that are 7 tefachim long each and 10 high. Ushlishis, and then the third wall, afilu tefach. Then you can get away with the third wall that's even just 1 tefach. And we'll call that a daf. Everyone have a wonderful day and a wonderful week.